Hello everyone, welcome to A Softek IT Consult. In today's video, we are going to settle the debate between the CGPA and then CWA. Which one is difficult, which one is the easiest, and after all, we are going to also settle the debate among our universities. You remember our playlist of our university grading systems? Today, we are going to find out whether the University of Ghana grading system is difficult than the KNUST or the UCC or the GCTU. I know what you are thinking, but before you finalize that, stay with me and let's get started.
A Softek IT Consult.
So let's do this together. At the end of the day, you are going to decide for yourself. If you have any suggestions, recommendations, what you think, you put it right in the comment section. Okay, so we are going to use an actual, correct, precise, and then unambiguous result. This is very accurate, very correct. Okay, so in here, before we start, okay, if you haven't watched what our CWA CGPA series, you can get back to watch, because there will be certain things that will be mentioned here which has been explained over and over and over again, and I'm going to try my possible best to also hit them on again. So before, okay, we talked about we're going to see GPA CWA. Okay, when we talk that word, GPA is grade points and then CWA is the actual marks. So when we talk about grade point, this is the grade point. Okay, it is a point that is what accumulated or that is received based on the performance of a student in a particular course. And when we come to the CWA, it is based on the mark. Okay, so this particular marks, when we multiply this marks together with the credit hours, we are going to be getting the cumulative weight. Okay, that is it. So that is the difference. But why this? Okay, why this? The question, why this? Okay, since CWA is based on a student performance, you could tell the higher the marks of a student in a particular course in a particular semester, the higher his performance. When it comes to the grade point, okay, it falls within a bucket or within a range. Okay, but the second thing that I would like to look at is this. Which one do you think is difficult among CWA and then CGPA, or which one do you think is hardened? Okay, yes, let me explain this to you so well. Remember that what CWA is dealing with a grade bucket, okay, like ranges. Remember that we saw something like this, okay, which is going to give us what something like a B, and then remember CWA as what 70 as what as an A. Okay, that is a 70 to 100 as an A. Remember that. Okay, so assuming there is a student, okay, who has 71, another student getting 74, don't you think these two students are going to have the same grade? Don't you think so? They're going to have the same grade. But when we get into the CWA, a student having 70 and a student having 80, even though they are having the same A, but it is not the same. But in the CGPA or in the GPA system, 71 and 74 are the same. That is the difference between that. The reason is that one has an actual grade bucket and then one deals with the actual marks. Okay, so the next thing that what I would like us to look at, which one do you think would be the most easiest? You know, yes, I know when we take it from a general standpoint or general perspective, okay, I would say CGPA is less punishing. That is a general perspective without considering the grading systems. Okay, without considering the grading systems, I would say CGPA is less punishing. Okay, because small drops, because we have what we have ranges like 75 to 79. Okay, so even reduction in marks is not really going to affect the GPA. But when we take the CWA, when we take maybe assuming 69, and when we take maybe 75, since they are not the same, this is going to be what highly punishing. Okay, but there is a caveat, okay? Don't take my words for granted. We will come to that. We are going to use the universities by themselves to judge this, okay? By the end of the day, we are going to know which one is easier, which one is difficult, okay? But if I should ask, which one would you think would be the better one or the better choice? In my own perspective, I think CGPA is what is better than what than CWA. Why? Because CGPA is internationally recognized, CWA is locally recognized. Even if you should apply to schools in Europe or schools in UK, schools in America or schools outside, your CWA will need to be converted into CGPA before it is accepted. That is one, okay? But on the other hand, I think CWA is more accurate and then more precise, and CGPA is less transparent. Why do I say so? Okay, since CGPA is using grade point, okay, and then as you can see from here, 75 and 79 is giving me the same grade. It's giving me the same grade, which means if two students should be getting 75 79 in all of their courses, they'll be having the same GPA. So I feel it is less accurate, okay? It doesn't really show the accurate performance or the true reflection of a student performance. But when we take the CWA, okay, these two students, if a student should be getting 75 to 79, I think at the end of the day, they won't be having the same CWA. There's going to be changes, or there are going to be differences. That is that, okay? So let's dive into the next chapter. If right now we know what CWA CGPA is, which one is easier, which one is better, and some of the importance, I would like us to dive into the university systems and then find out which university we will find out to be having the most difficult or the most strictest grading system, and then which one is having the most easiest, and then which one has the most clearer one, okay? So as you are seeing from here, this is an actual result of a student, okay? Actual result of a student, which is very correct. It is very correct, it is very accurate, it is very correct, and then it is very, very accurate as well, okay? So in here, I'm showing you the result of this particular student, as you can see. So these are the result. So if I should preview this again for you to see, okay, yes, so in here you can see these are the courses, these are the semesters, these are the course code, the courses, the marks, the credit, the grade points, and then CWA. Since we are going to compare the grading systems and compare the universities, so we had this, so you could tell right from here, okay, that this student is having something of this sort, okay? So I'm going to scroll down. You just have a look at the result, okay? Yes, same thing. You could see the semester GPA, cumulative GPA as well, and then I'm scrolling down till the last part. So let me scroll, keep on scrolling, and then we'll talk about this. If you want to see this file and then or this image and then go through by your own self, I'm going to leave this file in the video description. So if you want to also look into this particular file, this particular grading that we have in here, which is correct, precise, and accurate, so that you can also justify for yourself. It won't be that maybe we are showing you a wrong or a non-factual findings for you to also be able to understand what we are really doing. We are going to leave this file, this picture, or this image in the description, okay? So to look at, okay, the analysis from here, we realize that that same student result in GCTU is having 14 A's, and then that same student is having 3 A minuses, 7 B plus, 3 B, 6B minus, 3C plus, 1C, and then 0C minus, and then 0D. Okay, that is taking what? 37 courses. Okay, but let's look at University of Ghana and the University of Cape Coast. That same student, let's look at this. In the University of Ghana, we can tell the University of Ghana, University of Cape Coast, we can tell the same student has 14 A's, 3B plus, 7 B's, 2C plus, 7C, 3D plus, and then 1D, contributing to 37 courses as well. And then let's look at the KNUST. The same student is having now 22 A's, 10 B's, 5 C's, and then 0D in the same 37 courses. I know what you are thinking. You are thinking that no, the CGPAs are bullying the CWA. But let's look at this. Okay, let's look at this. Have a look at this side. Okay, so at the end of the whole years of this particular student, this student is having a CGPA of 3.55 at GCTU, and that same student is having a CGPA of 3.04 in the University of Ghana and also UCC. And then when it comes to the University of Ghana or the FGPA, that same student is having 2.50. But when we move to the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, the same student is having a CWA of 72.12. And then looking at the class, I know that is going to be surprising to you. Look at this. GCTU is having the student with second class upper. University of Cape Coast is giving this student second class upper. Okay. And then the University of Ghana is giving this student second class lower. Yes, second class lower. And then the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology is offering this student a first class. The same student. What is happening? I know you are thinking, is the CWA that simple, or is the CGPA difficult? That is for you to judge. If you have anything, or if you have any comment, any discrepancies, any kind of thing, just put it in the comment section. Okay, yes, this is fact. Okay, this is not something that we are predicting or we are soothsaying. We have the fact, we have the data right here. I'm going to leave the data right with you. And then, not forgetting, we created also the multi-school GPA CWA calculator. You can also put in your result. You can also put in the same result in there, and then you can tell that it is giving you the correct figures, the correct data. So what do we make of this particular whole data? Before I proceed, I want to show you something. Let me show you something. Okay, before I proceed, let's look at this. Okay, so we are saying that in GCTU, first class, okay, is 3.6 to 4.0. Second class upper is 3.0 to 3.59. Second class lower is 2.5, 2.99. But when we go to the University of Ghana, it is similar, 3.6 to 4.0. Similar, 3.0 to 3.5 now, 59. Similar, 2. No. So you could tell that there is a difference. Okay, 2.0 to 2.99. That's huge, which means a lot of students may be falling within this particular range. But you see, from the GCTU, we have 2.5 to 2.99, which means this is highly punishing. But this is less punishing, as you can see from here. And in the third class, 2.0 to 2.49, third class 1.5. So it means that in the University of Ghana, even if you should get a GPA of 1.0, you are still going to graduate and then receive an award. But in GCTU, no, 1.5 is is a pass. But below 1.5, no award. But at the University of Ghana, you are going to receive an award, right? Let's take the KNUST. You could tell 70 and above is what? Is first class. 60 to 69.99 is first class. And then 50 to 599 is what? Is second class upper, and then it moves down. Alright. And then the University of Cape Coast, almost similar, 3.64, 3.6 to 4.0, and then 3.0 to 3.5 as a second class upper, and then it moves that way. Okay, so you could tell that GCTU and University of Cape Coast have the second class lower similar, but one thing for sure, the pass is 1.0, which means when you get a GPA or CGPA or FGPA of 1.0, you are going to still graduate at the end, receive an award at the University of Cape Coast. Okay, so with having this particular information, what do we make of this? Okay, let's bring to the table this particular conclusion. Okay, yes, what I have to say is some of these factors that can contribute to this is the grade distribution. Okay, the grade distribution may be one. Okay, there may be higher A's, and then there may be what? Less what? A's when it comes to some institutions, as you saw. Okay, the grade distributions can be what? A high factor. Okay, right, this. And then we can also have what? This in here. Okay, GPA has the what? The overall student performance. This GPA has a raw student performance, and then the CWA, as we are seeing here, is showing us consistency in the student performance in all of the courses. Okay, I may also maybe put this on the course weight and then the impact. Okay, but I don't really want to put or stress on that much on that, because if you're a student and then you are taking all of your courses and then doing all of the assignments, that shouldn't be what a factor. And I feel maybe variability in grade scales. Okay, variability in grade scales, as we saw in here. Let me show that to you. Variability in grade scales can also be what? Be another. Okay, as you can see. Okay, we have the grades, we have this grades, we have this right here. Okay, can also be a factor. And then the last thing that I'm going to talk about would be maybe the impact of the assessment, but I don't really want to put that particular much stress on that. Okay, as a student, if you take all of your assessment, all of your assignment, that shouldn't be a factor. Now let's justify and then let's draw the conclusion in here. Okay, so as you saw from what? From our from our data in our analysis. Okay, we could tell that the university with the most strictest or the most hardened and the most difficult grading system among the 4 universities is the University of Ghana. Yes, that comes first. Okay, the second comes the University of Cape Coast, because you could tell that the CGP of this student is 3.55, but the CGP of the same student is 3.04 in here, but the FGP of the student is 2.50, which means the University of Ghana is more strict, more difficult. And then comes third as the GCTU. Okay, yes, it comes third as the third difficult or the strictest, but we put the CWA of KNUST and then UMAT as the what? At the bottom, because if the student is getting a second class upper at GCTU and getting a second class upper at what? UCC, and a second class lower in University of Ghana, and the same student getting a first class at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Technology, then it means that what? The grading system of the GPA CGPA is tighter, is difficult, and it is hardened than the CWA. Okay, now let's get down here and then let's find out which particular one, okay, has the most clearer grading system. I think with that one, I'm going to go with the what? With the KNUST. Okay, because it is based on your what? On your marks. Okay, the higher your marks, the higher the performance, and that shows that truly you are a student with very higher performance. Okay, but with the with the GPA, as I said earlier, okay, it is having a grade bucket. Okay, maybe 37 and then 40. We may be having CC. Okay, So I think this is not clear. This is not clear. But I love the CWA because it shows the actual performance of the student. And then we put GCTU at second when it comes to the university with the clearer grading system. Okay, because you could tell that if you watch our playlist of the GPA series, you could tell that what the grading system, okay, has what a difference of 0.25 0.25, which was clearer. And I'm going to put the University of Cape Coast at third when it comes to the one with the clearer, and the University of Ghana as the last when it comes to the one that is clearer, because FGPA 2.50 for a CGP of 3.04 is too much. It's harsh. It's really harsh. That particular system demands that every student should get an A. Without an A, meaning you failed. Okay, it is either you get an A or you fail. That is what the University of Ghana system demands from the student. And on the last one, which one among the universities is the easiest? I think the easiest, I'm going to go with KNUST. Yes, why? Because the same student gets a second class upper here and getting a second class lower in the University of Ghana, and a second class upper at UCC is getting a first class here. So I think it is easy. If a student should be able to be getting 70 marks, okay, 70 marks in their assessment, okay, on all of their courses, yes, it is going to be easy to make what a first class. And then the second, I'm going to pick GCTU, okay, as a second university with the easiest grading system, okay, and then University of Cape Coast as the third, and then the University of Ghana as the most difficult always. Okay, so this brings us to the final part or the final session of our CGPA CWA series, and I know you now know the university that is hard, that is difficult, which is easier, which is also clearer. But if you have any comment, if you have any additions, multiplications, subtractions, divisions, please put them all in the comment section. Until we meet again in another session, the name is Kwame A+, and I'm out. Watch out, peace, shalom, bye.
For more information and also to reach us, please contact the numbers on the screen. You can also reach us through our social media handles displayed on the screen. Please do like, follow, and subscribe to our social media handles. A Softek IT Consult. Innovative solutions with the difference.